So Jalen Rose mentioned that the Cleveland Cavaliers basically quit on LeBron James. LeBron James basically quit on the team, vice versa. People aren't talking about why they're quitting on LeBron James. This is the thing most people won't talk about. Let's take a little trip into corporate America. Imagine you're working under your boss. He's having you write up all these projects, doing PowerPoints, or the lead or team lead, they're assigning you things to do. You do them, but not only you're doing your part, you're doing your job, you're also doing things that are really their job. You're incorporating a lot of things. You're adding things to presentations that you're not really responsible for. You're doing more research than you should. You're taking projects home. You're working hard. You're working really well so the team can succeed. At the end of the day, when it's time for presentations or time for quarterly bonuses, all the accolades, all the acknowledgments go to your team lead and you get no credit. It's as if you were just there, you were a crash test dummy along for the ride. They're looking at the results of your team lead. They're looking at the results of your supervisor or your manager, and you're not getting any kind of credit for the things that the team does. You get all the blame when something goes wrong. Hey, it wasn't him, it wasn't your supervisor, it wasn't your team leader. It was you. You're the problem. Your leader is not the problem. Now, that's essentially what's going on in Cleveland. LeBron James is a team leader, or he's a self-proclaimed team leader, and he's been taking a lot of credit for everything for the past 3 years in Cleveland, and even in Miami for 4 years. He took most of the credit for everything good that happened there. When everything went bad in Miami, it was Dwayne Wade's old. It was Chris Bosh has health problems. It was Chris Bosh can't figure out his role. He's a problem. Dwayne Wade, he gets hurt a lot. That's why LeBron James is fed up with the team. And when he was in Miami, when they won championships, LeBron James is so great. He has the highest player efficiency. He upped his game. He's a better jump shooter, etc., etc. He's averaging this amount of points, so it has to be him. He gets all the credit. They don't mention the fact that, in a lot of games where the team was down, Chris Bosh had big moments. Ray Allen had big moments. They don't really talk about that too much. It's basically like, oh, LeBron James this, LeBron James that. He's the team leader. He's the supervisor. He's that guy getting all of the credit. And what that boils down to is the teammates, or we'll say the people underneath the team leader, the supervisor, they're fed up and they don't want to be seen as less of a player. One of the key issues with playing with LeBron James is his legacy increases, but yours diminishes. And he's one of the first few players where that really has happened, because if you even look with the championship they won in 2016 in Cleveland, LeBron gets all the credit for the championship. Nobody mentions how Kyrie was averaging almost 30, and he had the biggest shot in Cleveland history. Like, nobody wants to acknowledge that. And that's a big problem. And that's basically what Kyrie got out of there. Look at Kevin Love. When he was in Minnesota, he was considered one of the best power forwards in the game. Walking double-double. Gets to Cleveland, he's relegated to a jump shooter. Kevin Love's legacy decreases, LeBron's increases. Kyrie Irving, same thing. Oh, Kyrie Irving can't lead a team. He's not that good. He's not that great. LeBron James sits on the bench, and they can't score. LeBron's legacy increases, Kyrie's decreases. That's the thing. LeBron's increases, your legacy will decrease. He's one of the first few players I've ever seen like that. If you look at all the team's NBA history, from the Celtics, when Larry Bird got a lot of credit, but people like McHale, Dennis Johnson, you know what I'm saying, the Chief. You look at the Lakers, Showtime, it was Magic, it was Kareem, it was an ensemble. When you look at all LeBron James teams, it's mainly LeBron that gets most of the credit. He gets 99% of the credit. Even in Cleveland, you didn't make it to three straight finals by yourself. Kyrie Irving had a big role to play with that. Kevin Love had a huge role. Kevin Love, every single playoffs, he has monster playoffs until he gets to the finals. Then something happens where they start changing the roles and changing the rules of and the parameters of how things were going. First couple rounds, everybody's moving the ball, everybody's touching the ball, everybody's eating. Then you get to the finals, it's all LeBron, because he wants to get all the credit. And when they win, he does get all the credit. It's like he played 1-on-5. And that's why the team is quitting on him, because they're saying, well, hey, my leader is getting all the credit for a lot of work that I put in, a lot of things that I'm doing, and I'm just not getting any credit. I get all the blame when things go wrong, but none of the credit. And that's backwards in basketball because in corporate America, when the leader messes up or when the organization is not doing well, the first person they fire is the leader. But in basketball, the leader could not be doing well. He could not be doing what he's supposed to be doing. And he's not the first person to go. First person to go is the people underneath him. In all actuality, the problem is the leader. And in these past couple of weeks, the leader in LeBron James has been messing up. So if you're a Fortune 500 company, you got to look at it and say, hey, we gotta get rid of him. But this is basketball, and talent overrules everything. And LeBron's talent is basically overruling everything here. But as you can see, the players are tired of their legacy being diminished. A lot of players like Jay Crowder, Isaiah Thomas, J.R. Smith, Sixth Man of the Year before. They have accolades. They've done certain Jalen Rose MVP before the injuries and stuff. These guys have done things. Kevin Love, he's done things before. He's a champion as well. So for him to be on a team where there's only one man getting every ounce of the credit and he's not getting any is ridiculous. Even if you factor this in, Michael Jordan, one of the greatest players to ever play, he is not getting. He gets a lot of credit for everything, but you still hear Steve Kerr, big shot, Paxson, big shot, Scottie Pippen, one of the best players, Horace Grant, great power forward, Dennis Rodman, one of the greatest rebounders, Hall of Fame rebounders. You see that? You see how his teams get talked about? It's a team sport, not an individual sport. But with LeBron, it all becomes an individual sport because he wants the accolade. He's that supervisor vying for all the credit for all of his employees. This is Vlad from Hoops Junction, where Hoops meets Hoopla.